The Bragging Grasshopper. Once upon a time, in a vibrant green meadow surrounded by tall, whispering trees, there lived a grasshopper named Gus. Gus was not your average grasshopper, he loved to brag. From the moment the sun rose until it set behind the hills, Gus hopped from one group of animals to another, boasting about his skills. "I can jump higher than anyone else in this meadow," he declared to the rabbits. "My voice is louder and more beautiful than all the birds in the trees," he told the sparrows. "And look how shiny and green my body is. No one else has a color this bright," he boasted to the butterflies. Most of the animals would just nod politely, but deep down, they grew tired of Gus's endless bragging. One sunny morning, Gus decided to gather the meadow animals to show off his latest trick. "Everyone, come and watch," he shouted as loudly as he could. "I've been practicing my jumps, and I'm going to leap over the big pond." The rabbits, birds, and even the shy turtles gathered around the pond, curious to see if Gus could really do what he claimed. Gus hopped confidently to the edge of the pond. "Watch and learn, everyone. I am the greatest jumper this meadow has ever seen." He bent his legs and sprang into the air with all his might. But instead of soaring over the pond, Gus miscalculated. With a loud splash, he landed right in the middle of the water. The animals gasped, and then a few of them began to giggle. Gus, who was now dripping wet, climbed out of the pond with a sheepish look. "Well, that was just a practice jump," he said quickly, trying to cover his embarrassment. But deep down, he felt humiliated. A humble lesson. The next day, Gus stayed out of sight. He didn't want to face the other animals after his failed jump. As he sulked under a shady leaf, an ant named Abby scurried by, carrying a crumb that was much bigger than she was. "Hey, Gus!" Abby called cheerfully. "Why are you hiding? You usually love hopping around." Gus sighed. "Everyone must think I'm a fool after yesterday. I always brag about how great I am, but I couldn't even jump over the pond." Abby set down her crumb and looked at Gus with a kind smile. "You know, Gus, it's okay to be proud of what you can do. But there's a difference between confidence and bragging. Instead of telling everyone how great you are, why not show them by helping out or being kind?" Gus tilted his head. "How about? Like what?" Abby thought for a moment. "Well, we ants work together to gather food. It's hard work, and a grasshopper like you could really help by hopping to places we can't reach." Gus had never thought about using his skills to help others. "I guess I could try," he said hesitantly. Helping the meadow. Over the next few days, Gus joined Abby and the other ants in their work. Using his strong legs, he hopped to the tops of tall plants to knock down seeds and crumbs that the ants couldn't reach. The ants were thrilled, and Gus found that helping them felt surprisingly good. Word spread quickly around the meadow. "Gus isn't bragging anymore," the rabbits whispered. "He's actually helping the ants," the sparrows chirped. Soon, animals began approaching Gus with requests. A baby bird had fallen from its nest, and Gus used his jumps to reach the high branch and return it safely. A group of turtles needed help finding food near the pond, and Gus guided them to a patch of juicy plants. The more Gus helped, the happier he felt. For the first time, he wasn't bragging about himself, he was letting his actions speak for him. A new reputation. One evening, as the sun dipped low in the sky, the meadow animals gathered for a celebration. The rabbits had found a patch of wild carrots, the birds sang a cheerful tune, and the ants brought their collected crumbs to share. Abby stood on a small rock and called for everyone's attention. "I think we all agree that someone here deserves a special thank you," she began. "Gus, you've shown us how helpful and kind you can be. We're lucky to have you as a friend." The animals cheered, and Gus felt his face turn warm. He hadn't realized how much his efforts meant to everyone. "Thank you," Gus said, his voice humble. "I've learned that it's not about telling everyone how great you are. It's about showing them through what you do." From that day on, Gus was known as the most helpful grasshopper in the meadow. And while he still loved to hop and chirp, he did so with a newfound sense of humility and joy. The moral of the story: it's okay to be proud of your abilities, but true greatness comes from using them to help others. The end. If you loved this story, please like and subscribe for more.